Hey, what's up, guys? Do you get stressed out when you think about taking on your next home remodeling project? Are you uncertain about where to start or what to do? Well, today we're going to be talking about 5 simple rules that you can follow to significantly reduce the amount of stress that you feel when taking on your next remodeling project. Stick around. Rule number 1, anything that you screw up can be fixed. Just say that to yourself. Anything that you make a mistake on, whether it's plumbing, whether it's electrical, whether it's drywall, whether it's your tile, it doesn't matter. No matter what you do, you can fix it. So just rest assured knowing that you can't make a mistake so great that it can't be undone. Rule number 2. If you're uncertain about how to start or how to build something according to code or how to do it correctly, you can always find information. There are a lot of instructional books you can get at your local hardware store, Home Depot and Lowe's. They have a section of instructional booklets that you can get that are usually pretty detailed. Also, don't be afraid to contact your local planning and building department, the people that are in charge of issuing permits. A lot of times they have permit technicians that are very willing to answer questions. In my experience, almost every permit technician and building permit inspector that I've talked to, they appreciate a person who asks a lot of questions. So don't be afraid to contact them. They're a great resource. Rule number 3. I want you to set realistic goals for yourself and don't be in a rush to get the whole job done. If you're watching this in America, chances are pretty high that you have a busy life, and if you're trying to remodel stuff, you probably have other stuff going on and you're trying to manage your time appropriately. I get it. I'm a pretty busy person for the most part too, and there's a lot of times when I feel rushed to get things done. So what I do is I try to think about the overall project that you have to do for that day. I don't try to worry about the entire thing most of the time. I just think about what am I going to be able to do today. And then I pick out about 75% of what I could get done. That way I'm not looking at the entire project and thinking that I have to finish everything, because that gives you a tendency to feel overwhelmed and it just leads to more stress. And if you have a hard time figuring out how to, navigate that with yourself, just think about your task list that you have. And if you start getting anxiety, you start getting anxious over it or stressed out, then reduce the tasks by, 60, 70, 50%, whatever you need to do for yourself to feel better. Once you start feeling better about your tasks, then you're in the right ballpark for setting realistic goals in relation to your personal stress level. Rule number 4. It's really important that you take time to do an accurate assessment of your project. This means that you're going to look at everything from the ground up. You're going to look at your flooring, you're going to look at your trim, your drywall, your electrical fixtures, your plumbing fixtures, and you're going to try and foresee all the different things that you're going to need. And I want you to make an itemized list according to each subspecialty. So write out a header for plumbing, a header for electrical, a header for drywall and paint and things like that. That way, when you go to your local hardware store and you're in that section, you don't forget about what you need to do. This may seem trivial, but I promise it will save you time and trips to the hardware store because of things that you forget. Maybe you are there and you run into a friend and you start talking, or maybe you've taken the kids with you and they're talking about all the stuff that they want to do. It's really helpful to keep that list. That way you don't get sidetracked and end up running back to the hardware store at 5 o'clock before it closes. Rule number 5, and probably my most favorite rule, is always assume the worst so that you can be pleasantly surprised. If you've taken on projects before, you know that you're always going to run into something. Something's going to come up when you open up the wall or you open up the floor, you're going to find plumbing and electrical in places that you really didn't want it to be, and it's going to drive you nuts if you were hoping that you didn't run into it in the beginning. So if you just assume that it's going to be there and it's going to be a problem and you already develop plans to get around it, you're going to be in a lot better situation. And more times than not, you're going to find having that expectation for the worst, you're pleasantly surprised. It's going to happen more so than you hoping for the best and then being irritated that it didn't work out that way. These are not all of the rules that I follow when I'm remodeling, but they are the top 5 rules that I personally use on all of my remodeling projects to help lower the amount of stress that I have, help me feel more confident when I'm going into it, and ultimately I am able to do a more efficient job and provide a better quality product for my customers at the end of the day. If you like this video and you want to see more information like it, consider subscribing to my channel. My name is Zach Galenzi. This is Relax and Renovate, where I offer free education on how to become a residential remodeling pro. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time.